Hello. I shot Bo. You gotta go to the store. Then you should be back before you miss anything good. We're just gonna go over a couple of the recipes for today, maybe some fun facts, and then we'll start baking and then move into dinner. So I don't think dinner is gonna take us actually too long, thanks to the pressure cooker. So I decided to do a little bit of baking today instead.
That's how you're gonna use it fast.
Oh, the cassoulet, yeah. Yes. How's the day, guys? I know you were in here a little bit earlier. I'm actually just gonna quickly post on Discord that I'm live. Trillionaire, shortbread, bean cassoulet. Whoop whoop. This is gonna be so good today. Might as well do some bacon while it is not nice outside. Send now. Okay, let's do this, guys. Rush! Welcome in, man. How are ya? It's been a while, hasn't it? How's the fam? You staying busy with work and stuff? Really haven't seen you in quite a while. Sammy saw you streaming. Oh, okay. I did not. Just gonna wait a little bit until we get a couple more people in here so we can do some fun facts. Okay, let's get into this. You're doing good. That's great to hear. Things have been good over here. We are kind of snowed in right now. We got huge dump of snow the last 3 days, which is not typical for over here. So we don't even own a shovel to shovel the snow. Let's put it that way. So things have been interesting, but we're getting used to it. And the good thing is it's still warm out. So the snow doesn't really bother me too much. You can still go outside and do stuff and not freeze your butt off. Okay, so I know it says Trillionaire's shortbread bars, but it's actually typically called Millionaire's shortbread. We're just gonna make it a little bit more fancy today. We're gonna add a little bit of fleur de sel, so some nice salt flakes on top to contrast the chocolate. Yeah, Nike. Someone said Trillionaire, so here you are. Welcome our Trillionaire into chat. Nike 2G. How's the day, man? Did you have a good little drive to pick up the wifey? So, Millionaire's or Trillionaire's shortbread is a layered bar or a biscuit confectionery item composed of a crunchy and rich shortbread base. So we gotta make the base first with a chewy and soft caramel filling and a shiny milk chocolate topping. Sounds delicious. So the shortbread gets its texture from the butter, while condensed milk, you know, the good stuff in the can, and we actually did something really bad to this in a good way, is we put this in the circulator. So the sous vide machine, that guy right there. Boop. But you can also do it in a pot on the stovetop, and we cooked this. So inside this can now is, I don't know if you guys know what dulce de leche is, but that's like a really nice type of caramel. So if you cook your sweetened condensed milk in the can, you end up with caramel sauce. So we did that the last 12 hours. We did it overnight. The day goes, you're making foods, China foods. Ooh, nice. How well do I know you, Rush? What are you eating while watching my stream? You're eating ice cream. Rush is having some ice cream. I already know this. Like always. What type though? Cookies and cream? Is that what you're feeling today? So some of the first known recipes and references for Millionaire shortbread were actually in Australian journals and cookbooks from the 1970s. Most notably in the Australian Women's Weekly, where it's known as caramel slice. Sounds delicious. An alternative name, Millionaire shortbread, of this decadent confection seems to have originated in Scotland. So the name Millionaire shortbread comes from the rich variety of ingredients included in the patisseries. Although different countries do have their own variety of shortbread and use other names. Cool. Let's get into it. Feel free to use the recipe command. So Millionaire shortbread is the first recipe there. Second recipe link is going to be our cassoulet. I got it, bang on, you're having cookie dough. I still know you, Rush. I still know ya. Hey, cloned clone, welcome in, man. Is there gold in this shortbread? No, but we totally should. We totally should have picked up some gold flakes. Maybe I have some, like, silver dragees? Dragees? Is that what it's called when you decorate the cookies with the little silver beads? I might have some of those laying around. But we don't have any gold. Typing in Twitch, yeah, degrades your grammar. Shh, it's okay. Toast and crumpets, Nike. Crumpets and jelly. Okay, so we're only making a small pan of this today. We're not gonna make a huge pan. Just because there's only 2 of us around. And then I don't want to feel guilty about having to eat it. And I can't even really take it to work. Because everyone's like on a crazy weird diet there too. So we'll do a half recipe. So instead of the 13 by 9 pan, we'll just do this square pan, which I think I have to pop upstairs to go grab. Or we might still have the rectangle pan. Sammy, where's that pan at?
Okay.
You know the rectangle glass pan? Where the heck does that live now? Okay, well, anyways, we gotta start with making the shortbread crust first. That is gonna be pre-baked. And then we'll make the caramel, layer that on, cool it quickly, and then the ganache. What do we got going on in here, guys? Mrs. Ruby with the raid. Welcome in, guys. Holy smokes. Thanks, Mrs. Ruby. Mrs. Ruby's daughter, Maggie, got a French horn today. Amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, we've seen that screen. You were there.
That's amazing. How awesome is this Twitch community, though, hey? Welcome in, guys. Oh, hey, Nezadam. How are you? Max, Night Drifter, Let's Cook Everything, Scuba Vince, hey. Lewis. You can't stick around, but that shortbread sounds awesome. Sounds great. Thank you so much for the raid and the host. I really appreciate that. And hopefully you had a good stream. You can't unmute right now. Can you mime what's for dinner? Just start showing you all the things that are included. Thanks for the follows as well, guys. Ola, follow trigger. One live cool. Follow. Thanks for the follows, guys. You have to teach girls group. Okay, good night, Mrs. Ruby. Enjoy. Yeah, Lewis, when's the guys group? Hey, Rook. Hey, Crow Dizzle. Welcome in, guys. So we are just starting to make our Trillionaire shortbread. Fancy. So fancy. So the first link there is the recipe that I'm basing my bars off of, and we're gonna make them a little bit fancier. So whenever we have caramel and chocolate together in baking, I always like to contrast that with a really nice kind of flaked salt. Find that it just really enhances the caramel and chocolate flavors, and it also balances out any extra sweetness so that as you're eating it, it doesn't overwhelm your palate with all the sugar that's usually in baked goods. So I find that salt in baking is always a good idea, especially to garnish, just because it looks so good. Nezadam, you had shirataki noodles. I've tried those, I think only once before. And they're interesting. Interesting texture, but yeah, it doesn't have carbs, so you don't have to feel bad while eating them. Hey, Emily.
That one time?
Yeah, Sammy, yeah. The TNT ones. I think they're made of what, sweet potato or something?
Yeah, like the...
Welcome in, Emily. You're excited to bake? Me too. Thanks for the follow. Let's cook everything. Oh, you made the noodles. That's so cool. Okay, post it. Feel free if you want to join the Discord page and post it in the recipe section there. I'm so intrigued now. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly go run and grab the square baking pan from upstairs, and then we're gonna start to make this shortbread crust for our Trillionaire bars. So hold tight, guys. recipe. Feel a little bit less guilty about having all those goodies around the house. Konyaku? I have no idea what that is. Is that a plant that you can eat? Emily, do you stream as well? Okay, so let's get our ingredients out. So we need some butter, sugar, egg yolk, vanilla, salt, flour. We got our flour. Let's get into this. Sugar, vanilla. We need both white and brown sugar. Our delicious vanilla. Butter. And egg. Thanks, Rush. Thanks for posting that. Yeah, look at all the bean paste. It is my favorite. You're a visual learner. So am I, Mezzo. It just makes it so much easier, hey? Okay, so what we have to do, so our oven needs to be preheated to 350 Fahrenheit. And it actually says to use an electric mixer to make this shortbread so you can really whip the butter up, but I think we'll be able to do it by hand. We're not making a huge recipe, so it shouldn't get too difficult. So let's preheat our oven first, so 350 Fahrenheit. So that can heat up while we're working on the shortbread crust. We have about 8 minutes until the oven's nice and hot. And actually our first step is to line our baking pan with some parchment paper. So we got that guy here. We're doing half the recipe, so half of a 13 by 9 pan. You can either use this rectangular type of pan, or Pyrex makes usually a square glass pan as well. And then we'll probably have to trim this paper a touch. So kind of measure this out, and then what we're going to do, I kind of just lay it over the pan, is we're going to have to cut the corners up to the edges of the pan. That's going to make it fit in a lot better. But we do want the edges of the parchment to come all the way up the sides of the pan. We're going to be spreading caramel and chocolate into here, so you don't want that to stick onto the sides. And that's going to get really messy when we go to serve it later. And you guys will see the magic that comes from cutting the corners of the parchment like this. It's a little culinary school trick, if you will. I think I cut that just okay. Maybe this one we need just a touch more. And now we should be able to fit this in. So kind of smush it down. And then the corners will kind of overlap each other. Might have to cut just a little bit farther down. But you get the gist of it. It should fit in there pretty perfectly. One slice there. One there. And then after, we can trim up the sides if it's a little bit awkward still. Okay, there we go. So now we can see that the pan is perfectly lined. So now I'm just going to trim along the sides so the paper just comes up to the edge, and that way it won't be too difficult to deal with. But I think it's really important that we don't get too many crinkles in that either, because then your crinkles will either show up on your shortbread or kind of on the sides of your bars. So nice and smooth edges is what we're looking for. Hey Anchovy, how are you? Good to see you today. Okay, guys, guess what? We are going to be in New York streaming in a week
7 days.
from today. IRL New York exploring and food eating stream. Get hyped. Traveling with Kate and Sammy. If you guys know of any good spots that we need to check out, let us know. We will take any suggestions. That will be awesome. Yeah, I am so excited, Rush. Okay. This should be pretty perfect now. Yeah, that looks good. It's okay if it's a little messy, guys. It's allowed. I mean, as long as you don't get paper in your bar. I think that's the most important. Okay, we're trimmed up. Put that in the compost. Set that aside. So that's called mise en place. Guys, we're getting our stuff ready. So that when our dough is ready, we can just put it right into the pan, into the oven. Good spots where? In New York. New York City, cloned clone. We will be arriving there next Tuesday around dinner time, and then we'll be there for 1 week. Like IRL streaming and exploring and eating all of the foods. And yeah, there will be VODs. If you guys miss any of that, there will be VODs. Hey, Vune, how are you, man? Thanks for popping in. Let's get a bowl. We can make this shortbread up. Nike, you made some awesome beef and broccoli stir fry. You having some rice with that? Okay, back to our recipe real quick. So halving this recipe, and what it says to do, so we need to beat our butter until it's well creamed, so it should get a little bit fluffy. Probably gonna do that with a whisk, and since we're doing that by hand, is we need to soften up our butter. So we need half a cup of softened butter, and I always like to just quickly soften it up in the microwave. Usually takes about 30 seconds. You don't want to melt it too much per se, but just have it soft enough so that we can whip some air into it. Cold butter does not like to be whipped. Okay, measure that out. So half a cup, right on the line. Has anyone ever made these before? Or is this your first time ever really hearing about this dessert bar? Okay, just popping that in the microwave. It's 30 seconds. Should be pretty good. Baking anything for Valentine's Day? Wasn't really planning on it, Emily. Sadly, I'm going to be working that day, so I can't even stream. But there will be a stream next Sunday and Monday before we leave. Okay, so butter got a little bit soft. But that's actually okay, guys. We'll be able to come back from this. long as you don't melt all of the butter, it'll actually harden back up. Our oven is already hot for us. So let's whip this together. So kind of like half melted. And actually like whisk that back together. And then it actually should whip up really nice. See how it's forming back together? Now it's really easy for us to make it nice and light and airy. Feels like the first time. Feels like the very first time. You've eaten these before, Rush. You've had Millionaire bars. So look at how silky that got for us. You'd be trying banana cream tarts for the first time. Amazing. You know what my other favorite banana-y dessert is, Emily? Is banoffee pie. Okay, so that looks good. Butter's nice and light. I don't know if we can really incorporate too much more air into there. So our next step, yeah, Foreigner. Gotta love that classic rock. So add the sugars. So we need 35 grams of white sugar and 35 grams of brown sugar. So basically half of a third of a cup. So a sixth of a cup. Still gonna use the cup measure for this. And then we're gonna whip that into our butter. So cream the butter, cream the sugars into the butter, and the flour is gonna be going in last. It's like a basic cookie dough recipe, I would say. It's usually the basic steps that you have to follow. You always start with your butter and then go from there. Obviously we wanna pack our brown sugar when we're measuring it. Karen loves making banoffee pie. Yeah, I love it. It's so good, Rush. Okay, packed our sugar into the bowl. It's always fun to watch the ingredients disappear off of the board. So back into here. And basically we're gonna kind of melt the sugar into the butter. It's gonna start to get like less grainy. Give it a good stir. Perfect. So see the texture of that? It's not super heavy anymore. Hey Iceland, how are you? You love Japanese sticky rice. Yeah. Gonna invest in reusable chopsticks. Such a good investment, Nike. Almost 40 years, anchovy. Okay, next step. So we're gonna add an egg yolk. So we can't, it's kind of hard to split the egg yolk. So we'll just use that one egg yolk. Maybe the bars will turn out a touch more rich. And then our vanilla extract. So just a small amount of vanilla for this. Maybe like half a teaspoon. There we go. And our one egg yolk. us anyways. That was a booby trap. And now we whip it one more time. And then lastly, the flour and the salt goes in. You've been falling in love with Asian food more and more, Nike. It is. Whoa. Sammy, what are you doing? Yeah, Asian food is so, so good. It's so quick to whip up. So now look at this. It's getting lighter. The sugar is actually starting to dissolve into the butter and the egg. It's looking more smooth at this point. Rush, work has been going good. We're in the slow season right now, so I haven't been working as much, which is okay with me because then I get to stream more. And then, yeah, coming up, we have our little winter vacation. So pretty excited for that. And then it should start to get a little bit more busy after the break. So half a teaspoon or a quarter teaspoon of salt, actually. And then 1 cup of flour. Quarter teaspoon of salt. Last week I got to learn how to make a new type of charcuterie called Rosette de Lyon. Rosette de Lyon. It is a like mold cured salami. So it's the dry cured salami that's like typically French that has all the white mold on the outside. Very interesting process, I have to say, as you actually put mold in the meat and you dip the sausage once it's in the casing in the mold as well. So, so cool. And then you let it ferment for a couple days and then you start to dry it out. So our flour, 1, and it says, so 2 1/4. We're gonna cut that in half, so really, really small amount. Half of a 1/4 cup. And I'm now going to, I think, get away from this whisk before it gets too bunged up. It says don't overbeat. You want the dough to be slightly crumbly to make it easier to press into the pan, okay? Let's get all this stuff out now before we make too much of a mess that we can't come back from. Nike, so far this week has been good. Well, that's great news. Can't complain about that, eh? Trying to get all this butter and sugar off of there. I think we're good. Now just slowly mix the flour in. Yeah, the overbeating is gonna make the crust really, really tough. So I don't know if you've ever had this happen to you before when you're like trying to cut into, let's say, a bar or maybe a pie or even a cookie. Let's say this can happen with cookies too. You like go to cut into it, and you're like trying to cut it and it's rock hard, and then you cut it and it just like flies apart. So that's what would happen if we made this overbeaten and like mixed it all the way until it's really, really smooth. You're gonna get a really tough crust, which makes it hard to eat and serve. Just not what we're looking for. So we'll go just a touch more than this. See how it's still crumbly. Maybe wipe this off a touch. And I think that's good. I don't want to go too much more than that. So now we can grab our lined baking pan from earlier that we made all perfect and start to press that into there. The only thing you don't like in your ramen is the soy eggs? Really, Nike? How come, man? How come that weirds you out? That's like my favorite part. Dude. Dude. Hey, Ryan. Welcome in, man. How are ya? So pour our crumbly shortbread base into here. We're gonna finish doing this with our hands, actually. Gonna get into it, get the feel for it. That's good to hear, Ryan. You have soy sauce, sugar, rice vinegar, the usual. Sesame oil and sesame seeds on the rice. Okay, so now literally just kind of disperse it somewhat evenly. And then I always start in the middle and press towards the outside. Obviously you want it to be one nice even layer all the way across so that when you bake it, it bakes really evenly as well. You don't want some parts to be really thin and other parts to be thick. Then some parts will get overcooked, other parts will get undercooked. Just won't make for the best Trillionaire bar. So once I get kind of the initial press down is then I go in and really press it down one more time.
Nice.
What's up, Sammy?
They found another rotisserie at the thrift store.
What? A full-size one for
Those things are
15
like
bucks?
gold, man.
Yeah, that's like gold, Ryan. Should sell that. Sell it up. Okay, that looks good. That's pretty even. I'm happy with that. It'll even out as well a little bit as it bakes. Into the oven. Now you can do 2 whole chickens if you want. Yes, Ryan. You're keeping it since they went out of business. Heck yeah. Yeah, at least you got a backup now. That's brilliant. I do not blame you, man. Okay, so we're gonna bake 350 Fahrenheit. Our oven is preheated for 20 to 25 minutes. The edges should be lightly golden brown. So I'm gonna go on the lower end of that and probably do 18 minutes and then check it because I know my oven bakes hot. And then we can adjust the timing afterwards, but I'd rather not over bake this because that can also make your shortbread tough. So there we go, guys. 18-minute timer. Just going into the oven. And now we can make our caramel filling. Quick little cleanup of our board. I like this recipe because it comes together pretty quickly. You're always kind of doing something as something else is being finished. So our caramel we kind of cheated yesterday. I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but we made the dulce de leche in the can. So basically what this is sweetened condensed milk in a can, Eagle brand. The good stuff. So same. We obviously took the wrapper off and you put this in a pot of boiling water for, I think in the pot, it's 3 or 4 hours. You gotta keep the can covered with water or else that shit actually might explode. The can will pop open, there will be dulce de leche everywhere. We cheated and did it in the sous vide. So it was 12 hours at 185 Fahrenheit. So we did it overnight. So this is what we end up with afterwards. It's like, it makes a caramel in the can, and it's like one of the greatest things ever. It's so thick. It's not grainy at all either. It's like one of the best tasting caramels ever. So we have that, but I don't think that's quite enough to fill that middle layer in that pan. Yeah, super, super interesting, guys. It is so good. Put that on ice cream, you're laughing.
Oh man, it's dirty.
Well, thanks, Emily. Yeah, we have a pretty good knife collection between Sam and myself. Yeah, that is dirty, for sure. Just wait till I like spoon into there. So this recipe for the Millionaire shortbread, so it uses regular cans of condensed milk and you kind of cut it with butter and more sugar and corn syrup. But obviously we're gonna get more flavor since this is already caramelized. So I think I'm just gonna cut this with a little bit of butter, vanilla, and probably some corn syrup. Because this is pretty thick already, so you don't really have to reduce that too much. So that's where I'm kind of straying from the recipe a bit. But I think it's worth it. So there's our bit of corn syrup. We got some butter. So kind of just making our own little caramel today. Have you guys ever done this? The dulce de leche in a can? I think they actually have the recipe on some of the labels. Is like these cookie bars that they have on there. The magic cookie bars. I don't know. Hopefully that'll focus at some point. But anyways, the recipe is on the back of the label on the can. Yeah, it's super cool. Indeed. Let's get our sauce pot. Freehand caramel. So it's like, I even try to pour this. That shit's not coming out. She's thick. So check that out. It's like, hello. Dulce de leche. I think that's actually like a South American thing or a Spanish thing. Like peanut butter. Oh, This with peanut butter, that's a combo for sure. Put it in your coffee. Exactly, Nike. Now we're talking. There's options for sure. It's like the cheapest and safest way to make caramel. Unless you let the can explode.
In the circulator for sure.
Your stepmom's from Argentina, and she gave you dulce de leche to take home with you, and it exploded in your luggage on everything. No! That's so sad. I'm actually gonna rinse off this whisk from earlier. We need it to whisk up our caramel.
Here goes 36,000 bones.
Whoa!
Oh no!
Did you lose them all?
Oh, cool.
Wow, every time. Sammy just lost them all. Yeah, worst thing ever. Oh, I'm so sad for you. Not only is it like a pain to clean up, but it also wasted the dulce de leche. Sad, sad times. Okay, so corn syrup. Very cheap sweetener as well. That's so good. So that's why corn syrup is generally used to kind of cut the sugar in some recipes, just because it's so cheap. Vune. Frick. Frick, Vune. The bot is angry right now. Wow, you guys are just losing. Can you stop? Can you not? Okay, so they used a little bit more sugar than corn syrup. And now Anchovy lost too. No. Let's do like a third of a cup of this. Maybe a touch more. 2/3 of a cup of corn syrup, and then we'll drop a bit of butter into there. Maybe a 1/4 cup of butter. And then I think we'll have enough to make a solid caramel layer. You'll even do a 1/3 of a cup. So obviously you need the caramel to be firm enough so that when you cut into it, the top layer of chocolate doesn't just like smoosh all of the caramel out the side. So there is a method to this madness. But the good thing is that butter hardens up as it cools, as well as the dulce de leche. You're a 3-time loser. He can go to the other computer and give himself bones. I don't think he's ever done that. I don't even think he knows how to do that, actually. He just hasn't gambled in a bit. And then he loses them all. Okay, let's go over to the stovetop, guys. Get this heating up. We will put this on a nice medium heat, I think. Nice medium-high heat. Get things going. And then I'll put a little drop of vanilla in there still as well. That looks very rich. Oh, it's going to be rich anchovy. That's why it's called Trillionaire bars.
Thanks, dude.
Rich.
It's the only time I've cheated. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, he just bought tickets for the raffles. Other than that, there's been no other cheating.
It's true.
Always remember. Blame Sammy. Okay, so we have 8 minutes on our timer for our shortbread that's baking. Our next layer, chocolate ganache, is our topping. So we need 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips or some sort of dark or milk chocolate. And we need a little bit of cream, but guess what, guys? We used all the whipping cream yesterday to make hot chocolate for ourselves. Sammy made hot chocolate. It was deadly. You know what I'm gonna do? This is a life hack. Are you guys ready for this? Take your ice cream and melt it. I mean, it's gonna be a little bit sweet, so we'll have to maybe cut back on any sugar, but it's still gonna work. Still some sort of dairy. And milk will not work here, so that's why I'm using the ice cream instead. Milk will not work. Use ice cream, melt it down in place of heavy cream. Crazy shit. We're getting creative. So let's get our chocolate out. I'm gonna kind of use up some stuff around here. Get this and this. While we're waiting for our pan to heat up, here's the salt we're gonna use. Salt flakes for garnish. We have some of these crazy, crunchy, chocolate-covered Rice Krispies to put on top as well. I'm gonna get fancy. Would sour cream work? Obviously, it's gonna be a touch sour, but you might actually just be able to like mix a little bit of water into there to dilute it. That I don't know, but it never hurts to try. That's for sure. Okay, let me go quickly grab the chocolate chips. Another thing that we have used up, unless I can muster up something in here. I don't think so. Oh, I am finding some chocolate. I think I might make it. You only need half a cup worth. How's this going over here? Okay, our butter's a melting. Things are getting happy. This smells too good, by the way. Just gonna let that do its thing. Can't you just use some vanilla cream? Hey, Loriander and Jeffrey Wolf, welcome in. Sour cream with a bit of milk. So the milk with the chocolate, that's not gonna be a happy thing. So you need a heavy type of cream to be able to make a nice smooth chocolate ganache. I think if you put milk into the ganache, it's gonna make it kind of grainy and gritty. And it won't be as nice and shiny. How's it going, Lori? You haven't been in here in forever. I hope you're well. Can't you just use some vanilla cream? So I don't have any whipping cream in the house. So we're gonna just quickly melt down some ice cream instead. That's our life hack today. Okay, so we only need half a cup of chocolate chips, which means I'm just gonna have to chop up some chocolate instead. While we're waiting, staying busy. So you could, if you had, totally. We're kind of snowed in at the moment, so going to the store is not the best thing for us. Let's come back over here. So a little bit of dark chocolate. Get our measuring cup. Start to fill it up as we chop this. Obviously, the smaller you chop it, the easier it will be to melt down to make the ganache. Hey, Loriander, have you finished your Iberico ham yet? Did you finish your leg of Iberico ham? I know it's been a while, but maybe you've been saving it. Okay, that was about half of what we needed. Let's see what we got in here. This is like a German chocolate. Clearing it out. Yes, it's gone. Nice. That's awesome. Lori, would you end up getting another one? Would you purchase another Iberico ham? Jeffrey, what am I making tonight? You're from New York City? That's amazing. We're gonna be there in a week from today. Right now, we're making some dessert. And then we're gonna make a delicious duck meal with some bean cassoulet. Check this out, guys. So our butter's basically all melted. So now we need to whisk this together until it's nice and smooth.
Hey, we're planning on going to Tokyo at some point in our lives.
Tokyo? What's happening? Okay, this is actually looking really good, guys. I don't think it really has to cook too much more, so I'm just gonna turn that off and let it sit on the warm burner. So our shortbread's gonna be done right away. And we actually have to let the shortbread cool before we pour on our caramel layer. Emily, you love New York. You're visiting there this summer and trying to move there from Tokyo. Amazing. Yeah, this is gonna be our first time going to the Big Apple. And yeah, I'm so excited. It's always been a dream of mine to go to New York. So much good food to eat and so many awesome things to see. Laura, you might in the future. You might get more Iberico ham. Could be when you hit 50, you'll get one and serve it at a party. Yeah. Such a great thing to serve at the party. It is so expensive. Totally expensive. So you gotta make it worth it, right? Yeah, that's a big move. Years of planning, Emily. That's nuts. Okay, so what did we set? An 18-minute timer for our shortbread base. And it says we need it to be a little bit golden brown on the edges. So I don't think we're there quite yet. So I'm gonna do maybe 3 more minutes. Give it a little turn as well. So opposite way that it was sitting in the oven to begin with. 3 minutes extra. And then we'll check it one more time. It's $800 for 16 pounds of Iberico ham. Wow.
That's not bad.
It's true, it's not bad. Yeah, 16 pounds worth, that's a lot. That should last you quite a while. Or if you have a pretty big party, that won't last you very long at all. $50 a pound. It's so expensive, anchovy, but it is like literally the greatest cured meat ever. That includes the bone. Okay, maybe we chopped a bit too much chocolate. We'll use it all though. Just pile it up. Screw it. The chocolate pile is what we get. So this is also going to be made in a saucepan. Chocolate cake. Jeffrey, Iberico ham. Iberico. The pork version of Kobe beef. Yes, exactly, Lori. So it says to combine the chocolate with the cream in a small saucepan. Stir frequently until the chocolate is melted and the mixture is smooth. Then you pour that over top. Should probably melt our ice cream first, hey? So it says we need a 1/4 cup of ice cream. Or heavy cream if you have it on hand. Luckily, my ice cream is of the vanilla kind, so I'm really not too worried at this point. Just trying to make it work. Teaching you guys some life hacks. So anchovy, the type of ham we're talking about. So the Serrano ham that we had yesterday on stream, I don't know if you were in stream, but the Spanish ham that we've been carving off of, same type, except the pig is finished on hazelnuts. So it tastes super, super nutty. Obviously, hazelnuts are really expensive too to feed to a pig. So that's why it costs that much. Yeah, 5 to 7 years. That's insane, Lori. So that was our timer.
Yeets.
Timer for the crust. Yeah, 7 yeets. Take that out in 1 second. Put this back in. Let's take a look-see at our shortbread. Oh yeah, that looks perfect, guys. Beautiful, kind of golden brown, just around the edges. Oh, it melts in your mouth, anchovy. It's like, I definitely overspent when I was traveling in Spain because of Iberico ham. I only had it a couple times, but it's so, so expensive. But I couldn't not eat it while I was there. So we're gonna let this shortbread crust cool on a baking rack. That's gonna speed up the cooling process so that the cold air can go underneath that pan. And we're gonna go over to the stovetop now. Start melting our ice cream so that we can make the ganache with the chocolate. So you can make a lot of different kinds of ganache. Some are going to be thicker. So today's is going to be a thicker ganache. But they can also get really runny, so you can like drizzle the ganache over stuff. But we want a nice heavy ganache today, so we get that awesome layer of chocolate on top. I'm gonna put our eggs away while we're waiting, as well as our butter. Vanilla. We already have our vanilla in our ice cream. Oh, guys, you gotta be like Kate. You're heating up the wrong burner. Yo, you're heating up the wrong burner there, lady.
Oh, you're eating the wrong burner there, lady.
Oh, thanks, Sammy. awesome when we reveal this later on stream. How's our ice cream? And I've never done this before, guys, so I have no idea if this is actually gonna work or not. But we're gonna roll with it. See what happens. Bye, Jeffrey. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day. How terrific. Trillionaire squares. Sound like they are out of your unemployed budget. They just sound really rich. I mean, they have some pretty rich. Bless you? Did you have to make it so loud? They have some pretty rich ingredients in it, but I mean, nothing out of the ordinary as far as baking ingredients go. Okay, our ice cream is melted. It's bubbling. Let's put our chocolate in. See what kind of ganache we end up with. A nice, smooth chocolate. I think we can add the rest, the extra chocolate onto there. Yeah, Sammy with the dominant sneeze. Everyone stop what you're doing. Sammy's got a sneeze. Check it out. Move it over, shortbread. So, our awesome chocolate ganache. Chocolate and the ice cream is melted. We're gonna end up with this nice, smooth mixture that should be easily spreadable on the top layer of the bars. I think we might just need a touch more of the ice cream. Doesn't seem like we have enough chocolate here. You want like a good, probably 1/3 of an inch layer of chocolate on top. Including in the case with the ham, you got a rack to hang it. And a special knife. That's a pretty good deal then, Lori. That's a pretty good deal. Is that enough chocolate, guys? I'm not quite sure yet. Why don't I scrape that out into a plastic container so you can see how much we actually have here. I'm feeling like it's just not quite enough. You don't want to end up short either when it comes to decorating time. We might have to just loosen this up a touch. Put some more ice cream in there. Put Put some more ice cream. I think I'll actually chop up a touch more chocolate as well. And we can actually make that in the microwave too. I don't know if you guys always sneakily use your microwave for chocolate work, but it is like such a good way to cheat. For sure. Like, it still looks like we barely even got half a cup worth of ganache. Can't skimp out on the chocolate, guys. What is this? But it seems like the ice cream did work. I don't see why it wouldn't, to be honest. Scrape this back off. Woo. Put some more ice cream in. Probably gonna do the same amount that I started with. Like that. Just eat that out. Delicious. Might just have a little piece anyways. They're very proud of the meat. They want you to have the right tools. Yeah. Totally, Lori. Hey, Camus.
That's why ours came with a stand and knife too.
How are you, Camus? How's the day? We're starting with some baking today on stream. Depending on what type of ice cream. Yeah, that's true. Well, what if you made chocolate ganache with chocolate ice cream, Lori? I wonder what would happen. Get like the most intense chocolate ganache ever. Okay, we're gonna chop up, yeah, I think that amount of chocolate. We'll bump it up just a bit. Nice dark chocolate as well. I love the contrast of dark chocolate with sea salt. You don't think it would work with sorbet. That's true. Because the sorbet doesn't have the dairy, right? So definitely you won't be able to make a ganache with sorbet. Any type of ice cream though, for sure. I think no problem. Basically anything creamy with a high fat content. Okay, second round of chocolate. It's cooling off nicely. Yeah, the water is bad. The water would make it seize up. It would go rock hard on us. Is like one of the messiest things I find to work with in a kitchen. Once it starts to melt, it just gets on everything. What?
I go tubing with them over there.
What? People are going tubing in the snow?
They have that big hill. Remember they built it? That's like the best GT snow racer hill ever.
Let's go, Sammy. You don't understand how I can keep the chocolate around. Honestly, I do have a pretty big sweet tooth, but it's like as I get older, I try to not eat as much like sweet things, but I am a huge fan of chocolate. You don't like chocolate, Lori? And so yeah, that chocolate, probably not very recent, but this is a great way to use it up. Okay, 30-second increments. Let's finish off this ganache, then we can put our chocolate layer, or sorry, our caramel onto our shortbread. Let that cool off. We'll start to make our cassoulet for dinner time while we're waiting, and then we'll finish everything up.
So you're gonna fry the Dutch pretzels and then
Yeah.
put everything else in?
Yeah, we have to make a little bit of a broth as well. Is I pulled out a smoked chicken carcass to make a broth for the cassoulet. And we'll get into what cassoulet is in just a little bit here. I'm gonna finish off these couple layers. And then we'll do some fun facts about cassoulet, typical French dish. Okay, that's getting there. Is it smooth? We want it smooth with no lumps. I think we're actually there. That looks really good as far as consistency goes, or texture-wise. Maybe I'll do one more. Just one quick little microwave to be sure. And then we can set that aside. I think the chocolate I'm eating is what's called food chocolate. Yeah, it was like a big, big bar of dark chocolate. So there's not as much sugar in there either. I think it's still great to eat on its own, but it is really good for baking as well. It's like to use a nice dark chocolate. Rather than using chocolate chips, I find it just tastes better. So check that out now. So nice smooth chocolate ganache that we'll be able to pour over the caramel once it hardens up a touch. So now we can just set that aside. It might harden up a little bit as it sits out. I don't know what doggo's barking at out there. But we'll just watch it. We have to quickly warm up the chocolate ganache before we put it on later. I don't think that's going to be a big deal. Your grandma had a huge block of food chocolate that she would use for chocolate cake. Oh my goodness, Lori. That sounds like an epic chocolate cake. I mean, most chocolate cakes just use cocoa, right? Okay, guys, check this out. Our dulce de leche caramel with vanilla. So now we can scrape that onto the shortbread. It's cooled off a touch. Make sure this is nice and smooth first, so give it a good whisk. Obviously don't want too many lumps in there. It looks so good, hey Ice? These bars are actually something that Sammy loves to make, aka On Dog the Chef. So he claims that he doesn't like baking, but these bars are in his repertoire. Hey, Sammy? Your grandma made chocolate cake in the classic old-fashioned way. She bought it from the store. Yes, ho-gerific. That's allowed. My grandma would cheat sometimes as well. Okay, are you ready for this, guys? It smells too good as well. Let me just say that. It smells really rich. So now spread that out. Nice even layer. all the way to the edges. That looks good. Yum. Oh yeah. So yeah, this layer, or even these 2 layers, are gonna have to cool before we put the chocolate on. Otherwise, they'll kind of just go together if you try to spread them out really evenly. So now we have to let this cool. All of the hard work is done. We can eat this little bit of caramel. But I can't put this into the fridge because of the glass pan. The glass pan would crack if we put it into the fridge, so we gotta let it cool at room temperature for now. Sammy? Sammy's hiding, guys. Okay, 420.
That's really good.
That's a good caramel.
Yeah.
You did good, guys. Set that aside. So, onto our cassoulet. Let's get into this. What is cassoulet? What is this madness? Yeah, I hear 420. You rang? It just passed that time. Cheers, Nike.
Cheers, everyone.
So, cassoulet recipe that I'm going off of is the second link there on the bottom. And what is cassoulet, guys? Maybe you've heard this term before, maybe you haven't. Maybe this is something completely new to you. So, typical French dish. It's a rich, slow-cooked casserole containing meat, pork, and white beans, or some type of bean. The dish originated in the south of France. It's named after its traditional cooking vessel, the cassoulet, which is a deep, round earthenware pot with slanting sides. So basically just a big clay pot that they would bake this in. So all cassoulets are made with white beans. So I actually am using 2 different types of beans today. I like to do a duo of kidney beans that we have soaking, as well as black-eyed peas. But the typical bean used for this is called a great white northern bean. A great white northern bean. This is what I had on hand, and it's recommended that you soak these like a minimum of 6 hours before you use them, but usually going overnight is the best. I started soaking these first thing this morning when I woke up. So in France, cassoulets of varying price and quality are also sold in cans and jars in supermarkets. The cheapest ones contain only beans, tomato sauce, sausages, and bacon. And the more expensive versions of cassoulet are likely to be cooked with goose fat and to include kind of a fancy French sausage, lamb, goose, or duck confit, which we're doing today. So typically you should always be serving some sort of duck with your cassoulet. Casterly Rock. You remember growing up, your mom always let you lick the spoons off the beers. That was like the greatest part. of helping baking. Wasn't it, Anchovy? Help and lick the beaters off. You get nauseous just looking at it, Lori, but you really don't like cakes and sweet things anymore. Wow. Your appetite's very low at the moment since your accident 2 weeks ago. What happened? What the heck happened, Lori? Yeah, bacon is the best part. So, let's get out some of the things we're using for this cassoulet today. Once again, a great dish to kind of use up some stuff from the freezer and fridge. So, a couple of things that I took out, obviously. We're gonna need some sort of pork, usually going with a bacon or some kind of salt-cured pork belly. You want the smoky and fatty aspect. You guys remember when we smoked a chicken on stream a couple weeks ago? So we kept the carcass. I'm gonna make the broth for the cassoulet from this. So we're gonna get a nice kind of smoky broth. Here is our duck confit legs. So duck leg confit. That is actually pre-done. So we're not actually going to do this process today, but we will be serving that with our cassoulet. And here, an important part of starting the cassoulet is duck fat. So you really want to have some sort of duck or goose fat on hand to make the cassoulet with. It's a pretty fatty dish, and it's quite rich as well. So have a little bit of chicken broth and fat there as well. So I'm gonna make something good out of this. Heck, we might even just finish off the bolognese and our tomato sauce in there, because it is tomato based as well. So, aromatics for this. So as you can see, we're using up quite a few things from the freezer to make this. Aromatics, we need some onion, celery, and carrot. Some fresh herbs. I would go with thyme, rosemary, and sage. The bolognese, it's back. Using it twice this week. Laura, you broke your wrist in 4 places 2 weeks ago in a bike accident. You were operated a week ago where they put a plate and screws inside your wrist to hold all the pieces together. Lost a lot to your appetite. That's insane, Lori. I hope you're okay. Were you actually riding like your pedal bicycle? You got in an accident with a car? Okay, we need some garlic for this as well. Couple nice cloves of garlic. Probably gonna go with 3, actually. I like to go pretty heavy on the garlic here. And maybe before we even start processing the vegetables, let's get our chicken broth going, because that's gonna have to cook for, let's say, minimum 30 minutes to get the flavors out of there, since the chicken's already cooked. I'm gonna put that in a pot with some water and let it come up to a simmer. And I'm gonna start with cold water so that we get a nice clear broth. And you just want enough water to cover the chicken bones. probably good. The carcass. The carcass. Omdog the chef gifting the tier 1 sub to Loriander. Thank you so much. Welcome back to the Onion Squad, Lori. Mmm. The smoky flavor and aroma from this. Oh man. Looks so good. That looks good enough to me. Sticking out a touch. That's just the breastbone though. Probably flip it over about halfway. Let's start that on obviously a medium-high heat to really get it going first thing. So all of these things can be put aside for now. The bolognese, which has pork in it, and obviously kind of a tomatoey flavor to begin with. Put that aside. We won't really need that until we're really putting everything in the pressure cooker pot. This stuff can go aside as well, and we will leave the beans in this liquid until we put them in the pressure cooker pot. And what this water is doing, so it's kind of softening up the beans. They're not going to take as long to cook this way, and they'll actually have a more buttery texture compared to if we didn't soak the beans, is they'll stay a lot more hard. Won't break down as well. It's Denmark, one of the biggest bicycle countries in the world. Heck yes. You guys in the Dutch have the highest percent per citizen. That's nuts. Oh yeah, because it's so flat. That makes sense. It's just water. No salt added. No salt added first thing I shot. Just because we're using quite a few salty ingredients for our cassoulet. So the bolognese is salty, as well as the bacon. So we want to be a little bit careful with our salt levels now, because we can always add it afterwards. So let's crush these garlic cloves. I think we'll mince these. What was that? Like a crazy scraping noise outside. Like something fell down. Okay. Okay, so we'll mince these into the mixture when we make the broth. Let the garlic press do all the hard work. And then to go along with our bean stew, our cassoulet, we're gonna braise a little bit of cabbage, I think, to go with it, and maybe roast off the rest of the squash. So a sweet winter squash to go with it. I think all of that mixed together will be really, really nice. Get some different textures and flavors as well. It's absolutely a mess out there. Oh yeah. Yeah, Daily Dasher, we watched him for a bit this afternoon. It was definitely snowing in New York City today. It's getting really messy out here as well, though, I shot. Okay, so our onion is, we want to go with a nice small dice here. So kind of match the size of your vegetables that you're putting into the stew to the size of the beans. So that when you eat it, you get a nice bite of everything. You don't just get like huge chunks of carrot, celery, and onion with a little bit of bean. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna follow these nice lines that are already set up in the onion, and we're gonna follow the curve of the onion. And we're not gonna cut all the way through. I'm gonna leave just a little bit in the front there where everything is connected. with all the electric stuff being made, electric bikes are getting huge. You have 2 different legal versions. One that can drive 15 miles per hour and one that drives 30 miles an hour. That's insane. Okay, now make our nice dices. Like so. I think those all cut through. Maybe not. Maybe not. And now the last little bit, nice thin slices all the way around to finish it off. Maybe this part kind of cut in half first. You want everything to be nice, consistent in size when you're cooking this. It'll just cook a lot more evenly. So if you need to go back and kind of touch up any pieces, go for it. Okay, there's our onion. Just put that aside. Now I have just a little piece of carrot there. Peel up that one. Crystal! Hey, hey! How are you? So today we're doing a little bit of baking. We just kind of wrapped up the first part of our baking, which is Trillionaire bars. It's basically a shortbread cookie base layered with dulce de leche and chocolate on top. It's insane. And then for dinner, we're making a bean cassoulet. So it's like a pork and bean stew to go along with duck leg confit, some braised cabbage, and roasted squash. Pretty yummy things going on today. How are you doing, Crystal? Not being a troll, Hojerific. I don't think you were going to be anyways. What do I think of the slab chop? I think it's okay. It's obviously a quick way to chop stuff up, but it doesn't chop it consistently. So, I mean, if you're gonna cook those vegetables, you're gonna get some pretty uneven cooking if you're using a slap chop. Is like some of the stuff's gonna be minced up, some of the stuff's gonna be pretty big chunks still. I don't know. I think if you don't know how to use a knife, I guess that works. But for me, like, that would be a waste of time, I think. So the carrot, cut it in half, and then I'm gonna cut it into 3 lengthwise to match the same size as our onion. Wolverine electric bike. Is it nuts? So these thinner pieces of carrot, I'm gonna go maybe about halfway down and then cut it in half, because this part's nice and thin still, right? You don't have to cut it down too much. Your favorite part of cooking is the chopping. Yeah, other than the eating part. Me too, Frog. I love to chop stuff. You got a good menu you're cooking on Valentine's for your love. Nike, what are you making, man? Talk to us. So now we can make our nice little pieces of carrot. Hey, Box Fetish, welcome back. How's the day going? It's nice to see you earlier. Playing some crazy games with Sammy. That game is seriously so difficult. What kind of knife do I use? Good question, Ice. So here is the link to this knife. It's a Shun. Pretty reliable chef's knife for sure. And there's definitely cheaper versions of this one. This one's a little bit fancier. Obviously because I use it daily. But the cheaper Shuns are also really nice to use. The fuck can I do? Thank you so much for the 7 months in a row resub. How are you doing today? Vune, you got your new knife. Yeah, it's so sharp you're afraid of using it. That's how I was when I first got this knife from Sam. I was like, I'm gonna cut myself. I'm scared. Nike, you're making shrimp fajita enchiladas, caramel flan for dessert, and chocolate covered strawberries. Heck yeah, man. I think the wifey's gonna love that. You're good to fuck? You had a good day so far? Thank you so much for that resub. 7 months already, hey? Where is the time going? I guess it flies when we're having fun. Slow and steady chop on our celery. So there we go, our mirepoix plus garlic. Ready for our duck cassoulet. That's the base that you want to start with to make your stew. You're making General Tao's chicken. Yum! The Hunger Service made that today, I think. Yeah, Lori, I am back working. You should check out the restaurant that I'm working at. I think you would really, really enjoy it. I'll give you the link to the restaurant. I'm working at a slow food restaurant, Lori. You probably know what that is. There you go. Check it out. Our broth is just coming to a simmer, guys. Check out this pot. So it's just simmering. Now I'm just gonna turn it back down to like a medium low. And let's set a half an hour timer for this. We'll let it go that much more. Then we'll strain it. You guys are like having so much Asian food today. It's making me want Asian foods. Okay, back over here. So now that we got this stuff ready, move it over a touch. We need to slice up our bacon. We can actually get that frying pretty soon here in the pressure pot. So we're going to saute all this stuff together in the pressure pot and then throw our beans in, our tomatoey sauce based things, and then lastly our broth that we're working on. And then we'll pressurize that pot, and it's supposed to only take around half an hour. Really, really quick compared to if we did this bean cassoulet in the oven, it usually takes around 4 to 6 hours to completely soften those beans at a really low heat. Canadian dollar the same as US? No. We're around 0.75 to $1 US right now. 0.65 now?
Yeah.
It went down that much?
$1.35 to...
Okay.
Yeah, 0.65.
Okay. Okay, our bacon, guys. So, our bacon, I'm just gonna leave it all bunched up like this. Maybe cut kind of 1/2 inch thick pieces so you get a good distribution of the bacon throughout the stew. Yeah, oh my god, bacon. Help you. 0.76? See, I thought so. I thought so. The smoky, sweet, and salty goodness, that is bacon. Rolo, you thought you smelled bacon. Welcome in. So this is 6 strips of bacon. 6 strips worth. Not too much. You love bacon so much, but what really hurts is you're really bad at making bacon correctly. What? You don't know how to, like, cook a bacon properly? Is it Canadian bacon? It's not a Canadian bacon box. It's just regular, old-fashioned bacon. Canadian bacon is actually made from the pork loin. So it's really lean. I'm gonna wash off this knife. Don't want to cross-contaminate raw meat. Then our prices aren't too bad. Yeah, I mean, our prices are a little high simply because we source all of our ingredients locally. So that's gonna cost more when you're working with smaller farmers, right? Because their cost is higher. So like all of our meat we get from local farms that only have like 1 or 2 cows or pigs per year. Like all of our vegetables from local farms, so menu basically changes daily, depending on if we run out of stuff or not. You saw a bacon toaster looking cooker today? What? Bacon quarantine. You want to be in the bacon quarantine zone. Okay, let's get our pressure cooker pot. Hopefully we can fit all this stuff in here. I guess we'll see. So this is what we're looking at. I'm actually gonna do this for now. This is a little Tefal pot. This is 4 liters, or just over 4 quarts. So that's what that's gonna hold. And we're gonna start the base of our stew in this pot. So we're gonna make all the flavors in this pot and then just deglaze with, I think I'm gonna go with a white wine. But you can do white or red wine to deglaze, and I definitely recommend doing that. It's not Noma 2.0 prices, no. Definitely not. We're right near Buffy's Pub is like the local pub. I've never stepped into there, but apparently that's the place where people hang out on the weekends. No idea. Okay. I'm gonna switch these just so it's easier for us to see what's in this. So let's turn this, our pressure cooker pot, up to like a medium-high heat. And then we're gonna start browning the bacon in there first thing. Then we're gonna take the bacon out, put our mirepoix in there. So our onion, celery, and carrot, and then the garlic at the end. Saute that stuff up, get some nice color on there. And then we can deglaze with the wine. And then add in the rest of this stuff. Oh, it is a small town. Yeah, I guess you can kind of see the map since I posted that. $4 liters equals 25 gallons? What, Rolo? I feel like that's wrong. Okay, let's get the bacon into there, and I'm actually gonna try and go hunt for some fresh herbs outside to uncover them from the snow, but I feel like that's really important. We need that herb flavor. It's just not gonna be the same without it. So I'll let that bacon brown up. It shouldn't take me too long to cut some herbs. I mean, they're literally covered in about that much snow right now in the pots, but they're still alive. They're still kicking. Make sure the bacon doesn't burn, guys. I'll be right back. I make the most amazing things. Thanks, Ice. I really appreciate that. I try and keep things like pretty simple though. I like to cook pretty classic stuff. Cooking like a grandma. That's me. made it back. I got a little bit of sage and rosemary. There's not really much thyme to be had out there, but at least we got that. You hate when bacon gets overly crunchy. Me too. Yeah, don't make it too crispy. And it just tastes burnt, right? So start to break these pieces up. It may want to stick a little bit to the pot at the beginning, but once the fat starts to cook out, you should have no problem mixing it around. Like, I'll let that cook for a little bit and then I'll go to try and stir it. Time or time. One gallon is 4.5 liters. So that entire pressure pot is 1 gallon, not 25 gallons. That's craziness. Noma menu right now without drinks is $380 per person. That's insanity. And you need to reserve a couple months in advance, at least, for sure. That's nuts. Yeah, I was like, the snow is starting to melt off the roof, so I was getting like pummeled with these huge drops of snow on my head as I was picking those herbs just now. Not the most fun. I will say that. It's like just plop right on the top of my head. I was like, oh, okay. Feeling the love. Okay, how's our... So, our Trillionaire bars, the pan is nicely cooled off now. Now I'm going to pop this in the fridge quickly so that it can harden up even better. Then we can pour the chocolate on. But we needed the glass pan to cool off enough so it didn't break in the fridge. Because otherwise it would shatter. Okay, it looks like we can mix this up now. It's not stuck to the bottom anymore. Get our wine. We're gonna go with white wine, but yeah, it really is your choice between white and red wine here. When nature throws snowballs at you, pretty much I shot. That's how I felt. It is starting to smell too good in here. I'm gonna grab a bay leaf out as well. Nice couple of bay leaves for aromatics, as well as the thyme, or sorry, the rosemary and the sage. No thyme today. So we're gonna keep rendering this bacon. We want it a little bit crispy, but yeah, definitely not overly crispy. So patience is key here. And then our duck confit. So this was in the freezer. I'm just letting it come up to room temp. And the process that we used on that duck leg. So I don't know if some of you remember me butchering that duck on stream. So we took the legs, made up a mixture with salt, a little bit of sugar, some minced garlic, and chopped herbs, so kind of reflecting the same herbs that are going in the cassoulet. So rosemary, thyme, and sage. Made that salt mixture and rubbed the legs down. Let that sit on there overnight. Rinse it off. So that's called curing. We cured the duck leg overnight. And obviously that seasoned the meat on the duck leg. And then, so we have the circulator here, the Innova. So what we did is we vacuum sealed the duck in this bag with some rendered duck fat, and then cooked that low and slow. I think it's like typically in an oven, you would want to cook this at around 300 Fahrenheit for about 4 hours until the meat's starting to fall off the bone. In the immersion circulator, it takes quite a long time. I think maybe a couple days or so. Let's give this a stir. Start to brown up a little bit. Getting a good amount of fat in the bottom as well. And this is where the sugars are starting to stick. So the sugar from the bacon is starting to stick to the bottom of the pot as it cooks. And then that's what's going to give us all of that flavor. And then duck confit. So obviously it's in duck fat. And you can actually find this in France. They actually can it or jar it. And it's shelf stable in the fat. So it's a really awesome way for preserving meat that's been done for like hundreds of years before this. And it is delicious, I have to say. You can't do it with the duck breast, is the meat is too tender. It's not tough enough to have to break down in that way, but the duck leg is perfect. You can also do chicken if you don't want duck. Okay, our bacon is almost there, guys. Check those sizzles out. Put this bacon just into a bowl for now. We'll put it aside once it's done. Kind of keep stirring it around at this point. And then we'll put our veggies in there. Start frying them in the bacon fat. And that's how you create really, really good flavor. Like these one pot wonders are awesome. You can also do this in your slow cooker. Obviously, slow cookers take a lot more time though. So that would have to be done overnight. But today we're doing it the fastest way possible in a pressure cooker. Never done this before either. Okay, I am starting to take this bacon out. Kind of just getting crispy. But we don't want it to get too crispy, right? Because then it will taste burnt. There we go. There's our bacon. Let's put our mirepoix in without the garlic to begin with. Garlic will burn right away. So just the onion, carrot, and celery together. Should get a nice sizzle when you drop it in as well. A couple eggs and some chopped up potatoes in that bacon definitely would be good. It definitely smells like breakfast in here right now. Baked goods. Nike, that is you. You are the baked good. Or are you the baked bad? So now give that a good stir. Get it coated in our bacon fat. And now we're gonna cook that until it starts to brown as well. We have just over 10 minutes to go on our smoked chicken broth. Relic, how are ya? Yeah, Nike. Nike is the baked good. Am I going to deglaze? I'll deglaze after the vegetables. We'll do our garlic about 3/4 of the way through the vegetable cooking so that it doesn't burn. Because garlic burns like twice as fast as any other vegetable. So if we put that in there now, the garlic would be burnt by the time we're done browning the other veggies. And then we'll also throw in the herbs at the same time as the garlic. So I'm just going to throw this sprig of rosemary, these 3 sage leaves, and then these couple of bay leaves whole. And then we can fish that out afterwards. Frying onions in bacon fat is insane. Such a good smell. Such a good smell. Relic, you had a macroeconomics test in class today, so a bit tired, but relaxing currently. Nice. I totally dread economics, but kudos to you for being a smarty pants, because my brain cannot compute that kind of stuff. We're doing well over here. We've had a couple snow days lately. We are snowed in on the island. Typically don't get snow here, so I'm cooking some good home style foods. Ice, you can smell it. If only. Bacon smell-o-vision would change the world.
I'm already getting hungry.
Sammy's already hungry. Okay, not too much browning happening yet. Let's get out our strainer for this broth. Whenever we have to strain stuff, that's when I find that we use the most pots and pans and dishes. But it's worth it. It's worth it. You've cooked with enough bacon grease in your 19 years of life that you know what the smell is like. Yeah, that's true. That is true. It's like, if you don't know what bacon smells like, there might be something wrong. Daily Dasher with the raid. Welcome in, guys. How was your stream today? Did you do some good exploring? Also, what did you end up eating? What did you guys end up eating? I kind of left when you were in Grand Central. Welcome in, Meat Tape, Andrew. What's up, guys? So, for those of you who don't know me, thanks for the shout out, Ryan, for Daily Dasher. I am a professionally trained chef, also cook on Twitch on my days off. So I cook in a restaurant 4 days of the week. I'm on Twitch the other 3. And I like to cook a lot of different things on my stream. Most stuff, I like to keep it pretty simple. A lot of home style food. Kind of cook like your grandma would cook at home. And try to make cooking for you guys not as scary. Build up a little bit of confidence for you guys. Kind of teach you how to fix stuff when things go wrong. You got Shake Shack. Heck yeah. Man, Daily Dasher, I think Shake Shack is going to be like our first meal in New York. Because where we're staying is like right by Central Park. Right by that Shake Shack there. So I think that's going to be our dinner. Just checking on our browning veggies. Andrew, nothing much, just a bit rainy there in Asheville, North Carolina, but at least it's not cold. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of snow, but it's also not cold here, so it's totally okay being outside. Feels really cozy. Yeah, if I could stream from work, it would blow your guys' minds. So what we're making right now, what we're working on, guys, is called cassoulet. So it's a traditional French bean stew that has bacon in it. We have onions, carrots, and celery, as well as garlic and some herbs. And then we're gonna deglaze with a little bit of white wine. And this other pot here, we're making a quick chicken broth to use in the bean stew. And then that's gonna get served with a crispy duck leg and some braised vegetables. So kind of French food going on today. We're Frenching it up. So these vegetables are looking good. I don't know if we're gonna get it too much darker than that. So let's use our garlic press. Put these 3 cloves of garlic in there. Thanks for the follow, Scuffed. Thanks for joining. So my most favorite soup, instant, probably a coconut milk with carrot and ginger. Coconut, carrot, and ginger soup is like one of my favorites. But can you even go wrong with a good old chicken noodle? I mean, that's like the OG, isn't it? Chicken noodle soup on a cold day. That's all you need in life. Oop, slinging garlic everywhere. So let's mix in our garlic. Let that saute a bit. Should really start to perfume with that garlic smell now that we added it to the hot oil. And then for herbs, so we have sprig of rosemary that I picked from outside. Had to go searching for it in the snow. Some sage leaves, and as well as bay leaves. And if you had some fresh thyme, that would be perfect as well. We're gonna throw those in there. Give that a stir. Be careful, it might pop. Sometimes herbs pop when you put them in hot oil or fat of some sort. We're gonna let those saute a little bit as well. Just for about a minute. You learned about the glazing from watching Jacques Pepin. Classic eye shot. Jacques Pepin is like one of the best. It's in the works, iShot Bow, me streaming from work. We'll see though. I just don't know if my chef would be up for it. Oh, Daily Dasher, that's true. Clam chowder. So good. Lobster bisque. You fancy, huh? Welcome in, Pete. How are ya? How you doing? Hey, give this a stir. So our garlic is just kind of starting to brown. It's time to deglaze. So you guys see all of that, those browned bits from us frying the bacon and vegetables first. We're gonna pour some wine in. That's gonna lift all of that caramelization flavor off the bottom. And that will transfer the flavor into our cassoulet. You love potato leek, yeah. But minestrone is your go-to. That's like, I love all soups, honestly. I could for sure eat soup once a day or twice a day. So going in with the wine, let's do this. There's no measurements here. It should sizzle quite nicely. Maybe we used about half a cup, and then just stir this. And then all of those brown bits will start to lift off the bottom of the pot. We have a minute to go before we strain our chicken broth. And then we can kind of finish putting the rest of this cassoulet together, we'll put the lid on, then we can start to cook it. So it comes together pretty quick, I have to say. And you really don't want to rush this sauteing part, because this is where we're creating all the flavor. So I'm actually just going to turn that off now. You can see there's nothing really left that's stuck on the bottom of the pot, so the wine did its job. Just set that to the back. Now let's strain our broth. The flavor bits, exactly. No means please, sir. So that can come off. Let's come over here, guys. So I have a fine mesh strainer on this pot, straining our broth. We'll see how much flavor we really got into here within this kind of 45 minutes worth. Oh, wait for it. There we go. Yum. Take that out. Got a pretty nice color. Pretty nice color. Give it a taste. See how we did. It's nice and golden. We did get a good amount as well. So is this smoky? Let's see. So that chicken, we smoked a whole chicken a couple weeks back on stream. Obviously took the meat off of it, but we froze the carcass. So I always kind of freeze the chicken bone carcasses so that we can make broth or soup from them at some point. Actually a really nice smoke flavor. It's not like punch in your face. Smoke flavor is nice and light. And I think that'll transfer through the cassoulet quite nicely as well. You heard Mark Zuckerberg can smoke some meats real good? What? Mark Zuckerberg smokes meats? That's insanity. I have not heard this. Who is your source? What has the world come to? Okay, we're gonna put together our cassoulet in the pot over here, because it just is better lighting, I think. I'll try and crop this a little bit so you can see in. Isn't he vegan? He smokes a good brisket. Who is your source? Okay, so first thing going in here, we got some fried bacon strips. So we fried our bacon first, and then we fried our vegetables in the bacon fat in the pot. You definitely want some sort of smoky pork product in your cassoulet. It's just not going to be the same without it. So the beans that we're using, I'm using black-eyed peas and kidney beans today. We're going to strain out some of that water. These beans have been soaking for a minimum 6 hours in this water. I might have a little bit too much beans here, but we'll see. Because you have to think these are going to kind of double in size as they cook. I think I'm going to use about half of those. Are they? Yeah, fergalicious. Black-eyed peas. Fergalicious definitions. What's going on, Tiger? How are you today? So, kidney beans. Red kidney beans also soaked. Yes, they are about double the size. But I've combined these two before in a cassoulet, and they actually cook at the same time. So the kidney beans aren't going to be rock hard when the black-eyed peas are done cooking. So let's say we used maybe 2 cups of black-eyed peas and 1 cup of kidney beans. That seems kind of accurate. Now, I'm going to add in, so cassoulet is also a great way to use up freezer leftovers once again. So I had some bolognese, or like a kind of pork meat sauce. That's a great thing to put into here as well. So typically there's like sausage or ham put into here. The sausage is in the bolognese. And then the base of a cassoulet, there's always some sort of tomato aspect. Whether it's tomato paste or sauce. So you can decide where you want to go with that. This is a tomato sauce. I'll leave that. I don't want to go too heavy on the tomatoes, right? Because it's more about the beans still. Yeah, Sandra Bolognese. Thank you for that, Nike. Put a touch more tomato. And now we can top with our broth. Is this chili? No. Yeah, is this a vegan chili? This is a French bean stew called cassoulet. I guess it's kind of like a chili. Pouring the broth in. So the beans are gonna soak up the broth, right? Let's kind of mix this around. See how liquidy it is to begin with? And we can go from there. It says this is gonna take around half an hour in the pressure cooker. So our max, we're not quite at the max on the pot, if you guys can see back there. So I think I'm gonna put a touch more broth in. Yeah, Doggo! That is Doggo. She's the best. And it looks like we still have about 2 liters of this broth left. So we have extra broth in the house now. Maybe we'll make a soup or something with it. Okay, let that sit there for a sec. I'm gonna taste how this base is. Obviously, everything we put in here is cooked, so we don't have to worry about eating raw things. Tastes pretty good already. I'm not gonna add any salt quite yet. There's some things in here that are already salted, but we don't want it to get too salty as it cooks, since we're kind of blind cooking this with the lid on under pressure. So we're gonna add the salt at the end. So the green in there, sage and rosemary and bay leaf. And if you had it, you can totally put tarragon or thyme in as well. Thanks, iShot. Yeah, I hate wasting food. It is like the worst thing ever. So I'm always trying to think of ways to use up the stuff that I put away and save. Hot Cheetos and donuts for the win. Donuts are like one of my kryptonites, Daily Dasher. You've seen people get too salty. Okay, so can take this back over to the stovetop now, and we're gonna bring it up to a simmer before we put our pressure lid on. And then we'll put our lid on. We want our lid at the high setting. So we're gonna turn it to the little turkey here. So that's high pressure. This one here where it shows vegetables, obviously that's lower pressure. And then the little steam thing is to let the pressure out if you need to do that quickly and open up the lid. But we're going high pressure for the beans. Back over to the stove. Let's do medium heat. Stuff in there hasn't cooled off too much yet. And so here's the recipe that I'm working off of. Is the second link there on the bottom. So I'm just basically following the cooking method there, maybe following a little bit of the ingredients, but I always like to make different versions of the cassoulet. It's always gonna taste different. So it says cook over high pressure for 20 minutes. Interesting. So maybe half an hour, 20 minutes is all this is gonna take? I guess we'll see. While we're waiting for that, let's get our duck confit ready to go. So the duck confit is obviously gonna have to be warmed, and we need to crisp up the skin on the duck leg. Don't want any soggy skin. You watch Hitch occasionally. Awesome, anchovy. Yeah, we're gonna try and meet up with him, hopefully, when he comes back home. Fellow islander. And then while our cassoulet is going, we have to quickly get some cabbage chopped up. We're gonna saute that a little bit with some wine as well. Cabbage and duck, another awesome combination. See if I can get this out of the bag without making it too messy. Hitch is how you found me. That's amazing, Ice. And you stayed. Yes. Keeping up with Kylie. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. I'm going to scrape all this fat off. The extra fat. We don't want to throw it out. So there's our one duck leg. Pre-cooked. It was cooked slowly in this bag in its own fat for many, many hours until it's just kind of starting to fall off the bone. So it's really nice and tender. What we need to do is just crisp up this outer skin. Nike, you're an islander? At least in your mind. You want your own island, man? Stay away from this crazy, crazy world. Okay, there's our second duck leg, aka happiness. And like everything in this bag, we cannot throw out, guys. That is like the goods. So those are just kind of coming up to room temperature at this point. And then we'll just fry them quickly in a pan. Should take about 10 minutes to heat those up. You don't want to cook them on too high heat because duck skin is actually pretty thick compared to chicken skin. It's probably about twice the thickness. So you need to cook it on a lower heat to render out some of that fat. Otherwise it just won't crisp up the same. So we'll put that aside for now. It's basically ready to go. And you know what? While we're waiting, why don't we finish off dessert so that chocolate can firm up? Where does Hitch go to the bathroom if he needs to? That is not a question I can answer. I am sorry, Fast Tech, but I don't actually know. Pretty sure he just goes in like a random grocery store or a cafe of sorts. It's not that hard to find a bathroom though in Europe when you're traveling. There's actually quite a few public washrooms around as well.
Oh, yeah, what you eat.
Yeah, it's about how much you eat and drink as well. So, our Trillionaire shortbread. The base of this is a shortbread. We pre-baked it in the oven. Excuse me, it took about 20 minutes to bake it just until the edges were golden. Then we crafted this insane dulce de leche caramel for the middle layer. And lastly, gotta top it with some chocolate ganache, but we're just gonna soften this up really quickly in the microwave for a couple seconds, and then we're gonna pour that on top and garnish it and let it cool off. This is dirty, dirty. Super tasty. Dangerous thing to have around the house for sure. Yeah, it is super rich. But I mean, that's why they call it millionaire or trillionaire bars. So give our chocolate a little stir. Should be nice and smooth. And we're gonna pour that on. That's our top layer. And then that's gotta harden up. Fast Tech, you just died. Oh yeah. So we needed the caramel layer to harden up a bit before we put the chocolate on, so we didn't mess up the layers. That way we'll get nice distinct layers of shortbread, caramel, and chocolate. So you want to spread that out until it's nice and even. Get all of the caramel covered. And then we have some garnishes to put on top. We're gonna garnish with some flaked sea salt, as well as some crunchy chocolate pearls. So basically it's a Rice Krispie covered in chocolate. That one's a little bit fancy. I don't know if you guys will be able to find that in the grocery store, because that's something that we got from the restaurant. So you don't really need that. Just thought it'd be nice for an extra crunch though. And this looks insane. Kind of even this out. Looks good. That chocolate is so dark, hey? That sheen. It's like a mirror. Okay. This is what I'm using. True North sea salt flakes, made here where I live. On my way to or back from New York, could I stop in there and fix it? Anchovy. Where you at? So these sea salt flakes, there are some crazy, crazy pieces in there. I don't know if that'll focus, but like you can see kind of the crystals in there. Sometimes you get little pyramids as well. That's a rare thing. That's a hard thing to happen. But you always want a nice flake salt when you're garnishing desserts because it melts on your tongue differently. So it melts slower and disperses the salt compared to if you have a fine sea salt, is that melts faster and it's going to overwhelm your palate with the salt. So just kind of disperse that everywhere. What's up, doggo? And this salt's going to obviously contrast the sweetness from the caramel and the richness from the shortbread, all that butter in there and sugar. And this is not a typical thing for millionaire bars, but I think it really, really needs it. Salt and chocolate. Great combo. And you can put a lot. You can totally put a lot. You were looking for a sea salt milk of the Dollar Tree, but they're all sold out. Weird. That's weird. So this is our other thing that we're using. So crisp pearls. Calibo. You lost the tracking number. What? Well, it is still on your Whisper, though. It's still in your Whisper on Twitch. Otherwise, I still have it, Anchovy, if you need me to look at where your package is. We'll just put those over top, too. We're getting crazy today, guys. I don't bake too often on here. But when I do, I go a little overboard, I think. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think of this. Don't play. Don't play around with your food. How dare you? You deleted the Whisper. Okay. Okay, I'll take a look later for you then, Anchovy. I think that's enough, though, as far as the chocolate pearls go. That one looks a little bit iffy. We'll sacrifice it. Insane. So we're gonna let that firm up in the fridge, and then we'll cut into that later on. Insanity. And I just turned around, it looks like our cassoulet just came up to a simmer. How perfect was that timing? So now, that's a simmer. We have our lid set on high pressure. All we gotta do, turn that lid on. It's locked in now. It's not gonna blow off. And then we're gonna let that come up to pressure. So we'll start to see steam come out of here. That's when we know we're good to go. And then we can set the timer from that point. You don't wanna set your timer before it comes up to pressure, because then you're not gonna get the same amount of cooking time. Yeah, I don't bake often, but when I do, I go hard. You gotta make it worth it, right? I think I don't think he's a chef, but he's a food writer. Michael Pollan. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. He wrote the book Cooked, which in turn Netflix made a series, a food series called Cooked. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen that, but Michael Pollan, I like to go by what he says about eating desserts. It's like, if you want a dessert, make sure that you make it yourself. Don't just go to the store and buy like the crap off the shelf. Make that dessert yourself. Make it worth it. It's gonna be so much better for you. Okay, while we're waiting for that to come up to pressure, we need our cabbage out. Get our squash. Cabbage. Some squash. Some butter. Okay. Starting to see some steam just coming out of there. See those little puffs? And I think I'm actually going to take a quick bathroom break now while we're waiting for this, and then we can come and finish din. time. So now we can move the heat down to like a medium low. And let's set our half an hour timer. Done, done. Pressure building. Watch out. Watch out, world. Just gonna put away our little bit of chicken broth first. I don't know if it's all gonna fit in this 1 liter. Oh goodness. I think we got another container. Oh no. This one has a hole. This one has a hole. We got another container in the dishwasher. We got a leak, guys. Good thing we did that. Dishwasher is not clean. We'll just set that aside. Deal with that later. We do need it off of the stovetop. Smoky chicken broth. Clean it up. So our cabbage. A little bit of extra cabbage pieces there. This was from our tacos. When was that? Last week? Taco Tuesday. A little bit of shredded cabbage and some cabbage pieces. Yeah, man overboard. There's a leak in the boat. Need some water. Get some water while we're at it. So our cabbage, let me just cut up these pieces really quickly. These kind of bite-sized, you can go a little bit fatter pieces as well. Be easier to show you on these pieces of cabbage though. Doggo is here with us in case we drop anything. She has let it be known that she'll be the vacuum. So, cutest little cabbage ever. We have to take out the core, first of all. And we'll give that kind of soggy part to Doggo. See what she does with it. So I always just make kind of triangular slices alongside the core. And it's pretty easy to take out. So like that. And then we don't waste too much cabbage either. You just take out the core like that. Yeah, why has it gotta be the soggy part? Because it's still edible, but it's gonna get soggy if we cook it. So the core, another good Doggo snack. At least for my Doggo, she loves to eat the core of the cabbage. So the crunchy part that we consider unedible, great Doggo snack. Now, I'm actually gonna take this whole leaf off because it just doesn't look that good. I'll probably clean it up actually. Okay. We're gonna cut these in about 1 inch thick pieces. So all the way along, obviously follow kind of the diagonal as well. And then we can turn it that way. It's roughage. It's in transit. Nice, anchovy. Yeah, I hope you get it soon. So now we can cut kind of 1/2 inch pieces this way. Sometimes even if you're following that, you're gonna get weird pieces that come out. So I always kind of go over it afterwards and just make sure everything is really consistent in size. And that way when we cook it, it'll all cook at the same amount of time. quite a bit of cabbage here, I know, guys, but it is going to cook down by probably half. So I know it looks like lots. This is one of those veggies that cooks down to pretty much nothing. So don't leave yourself shortchanged. I think we'll finish the rest of this off as well. It does cook down good, yeah. Yeah, it shrinks up so much. Nike, you've been baking for a bit. Nike's been baking. Not the way that I've been baking on stream. And I would actually typically use a red cabbage for braised cabbage, but let's see what we can do with this green cabbage. Once again, trying to use something up out of my fridge, especially since we're gone in a week. I don't want to leave too much vegetables in there. So there's our crazy cabbage pile. Thanks, Guardian. I'll take that as a compliment, I suppose. So we have a big cast iron pan there for the cabbage. Doggo, what happened? Doggo's digging. Oh no. I can't get it. You gotta ask Sammy. We gotta save the piece of cabbage under the dishwasher. Otherwise, Doggo is not gonna let me live that down. Okay. Literally on my belly right now. Fishing out under the appliance so that Doggo can have her snack. Okay. We're good. Whew. Things we do for doggos. Her tail's going crazy. Yeah, she's crazy. What is Doggo gonna do when we're gone? So my parents are away right now in Mexico. So we're watching her. We kind of share responsibility of the dog. She's always been a family dog. So she's not actually our dog. And my parents are gonna watch her while we're away. Okay, let's get this cabbage going. So I have a big cast iron pan on the stove that we're gonna heat up right now. It's that big blue, let's call it. And this is where we get gross in the best way possible and use the duck fat and the little bit of juices in there to braise the cabbage with. And obviously it's not red cabbage today, so we're gonna use white wine with it. If we had the red cabbage, we would use the red wine to kind of keep with the color. I think I'm just gonna do straight cabbage. Or do you guys feel like I should chop up a little bit of shallot? So I think that could work really nicely as well. But I don't want to go too strong with the onion flavor. You can quickly chop up some shallot. But let's load up our duck fat first. Okay, while that's heating, let's deal with this real quick. Our timer, we have 20 minutes. So cassoulet has been on for 10 minutes, guys. Shallots are like one of the weirdest vegetables in the onion family. Like, I don't understand how it always grows in two separate bulbs. Makes it super annoying to actually process. Whew, she's a little strong. The eyes are burning, guys. It's getting emotional in here. Okay, our fat's starting to bubble. Let's hurry up with this. So I'm gonna cut that in half and we'll flip that onto the flat side. This piece is a little bit bigger, so I'll go in half and then in half again. And we're just gonna thinly slice it like this. Then we wanna fry up this shallot a little bit first before we put the cabbage in. Cabbage is pretty delicate. It doesn't have to cook for that long to break it down. So you wanna create some flavor, some caramelization on our shallot before we put the cabbage in. I'm definitely crying. Definitely waterworks here. Whew! Yeah, I'm not crying, you're crying. Ooh-wee. That was worse than the onion. Oh man, got us good. Got us good. I'm just so happy that you guys are here. Okay, let's give that a stir. Smells amazing frying in the duck fat. I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit more into the pan. And as a chef, like duck fat is one of the best fats to cook with. There's so much flavor in there. And that's also what makes it super expensive to try and buy or even use. It's like liquid gold, let's say. Duck fat is liquid gold. Have you guys in here, please tell me you've eaten duck before. Please tell me this. They're moving. They're trying to run out of the pan I shot. Okay, we're already getting some browning action on here. So it's not going to take too long before we get our cabbage going. A little bit more frying action. Gotta chop up some parsley still for garnish. I don't know if we're gonna cook this squash. Sonny, how are you feeling? I think we need the squash.
Oh, do you think we need the squash?
I don't know. I feel like we might not need it.
You don't think we need it?
Okay, I don't want the shallot to get too much darker than that. I don't know if you guys can see it. The orange duck. Oh, you've had orange duck before. I've not even had orange duck. How was it? So cabbage going in. It's gonna slow the cooking down of the shallots. Should get a good sizzle when we put it in. Doggo's cleaning up any pieces that we're dropping as we transfer. Perfect. Now we want to give that a stir. Smells like caramelized onions in here. So basically you get the cabbage covered in the duck fat. It's gonna start to cook down. Now, I'm gonna add a little bit of salt to that pan. The orange duck was delicious. Did you make it yourself, Ice, or did you have that out somewhere? So I'm gonna start with about a teaspoon of salt for this cabbage. A little pre-seasoned. The steam from the cassoulet smells awesome. The little puffs of steam coming out of the pressure cooker. So it's okay if we get some color on this cabbage, but it's just gonna give us extra flavor. So you can keep that on a nice medium-high heat. And then just kind of near the end of cooking, so in a couple minutes, we'll put some white wine in and let that cook off. Did we finish the bars yet? So Emily, I just finished pouring the chocolate over top and garnishing, and we put them back in the fridge to firm up, to harden up, and then we'll cut into them a little bit later on in stream, maybe in less than an hour from now, I would say. We're just kind of finishing up dinner. They're looking unreal though. I don't know if that's even allowed. I don't know if those bars are allowed in the world. Okay, stir our cabbage one more time. Nice. Okay, we're getting good color on there. Now we're gonna deglaze. One more time. A lot of deglazing happening in stream today. It's French cooking. There's wine involved. There's wine and fat. So just a couple tablespoons. Just stir that around and the wine will cook off. And I'm actually going to shut the pan off now. So no more heat. Let's taste it. See if we need any salt. And then that can just stay warm on the stove top. Nothing else is going to happen to that. It's already cooked down, so you don't have to worry about it going soggy because it's already soggy. But let's finish seasoning it, and that way when we go to plate, is we just have to scoop it into the bowl. I'm glad we put the shallot in there. I think it does just need a touch more salt. But definitely getting like a really nice caramelized onion flavor from the shallot. And the wine is cooked off. So there's no more wine left into the bottom of the pan. Give that one more taste. And then we're just gonna cover that and keep it warm. cabbage is so nice and juicy. Mmm. It's got a good like sweet and salty thing going on as well. And now that makes room on the stovetop for the frying pan for our duck legs. We have 10 minutes left on our pressure cooker. But I think we should actually start to heat our pan up for our duck legs. Maybe I'll move this big pan out of there. Moving on over. So let's turn this pan on medium heat. Medium low. Nothing too high though. And while we're waiting for that to heat up, finish up with our garnish. So we're just gonna chop up some parsley, nice and fine. We'll sprinkle a touch of it into the cabbage before we serve, and then we'll use the rest to just sprinkle on top of the whole dish. Very French. Has anyone in here had cassoulet before, or have you never heard of that until today? Okay, let's chop this up. First time you've heard of it, really? Well, I'm glad I taught you something new then. That's awesome. It is like one of my favorite wintertime meals. Also really good with eggs. Like do a over easy egg or like a poached egg in there. It's so good. It's new to you as well, Ice. That's awesome. This is like what I aim to do. Is like introduce new dishes to you guys that aren't actually that difficult to make. Cassoulet is definitely one of those one pot wonders. And like I said, you can totally do it in your slow cooker. But I've been wanting to kind of test out the pressure cooker with different dishes, so that's why I did it the quick way today. Nice and fine chop on this. As my culinary instructor says, you don't want it to look like fresh cut grass clippings. Whatever that means. In my mind, chopped parsley always looks like fresh grass clippings. There we go. Saw someone make a casserole called Flying Jacob, a Swedish dish. What was in that casserole? Sounds good. A Flying Jacob. There we go. Minutes on our timer. So our duck pan, it feels warm. So what we're gonna do, here's our duck legs pre-cooked. We're gonna put those skin side down. Nice little sizzle. That's what we want. Now those are gonna start to get heated up. We'll check those in about a minute to see how fast they're browning. You don't want them to brown too quick. We also need to heat up the meat as that cooks. Flying Jacob is a Swedish casserole made of chicken cream, chili sauce, bananas, roasted peanuts, and bacon. What? Bananas and chicken. Yeah, the bananas sound interesting. It's like a chicken Alfredo meets an Elvis sandwich. Totally. That sounds crazy. I would try it though. I would totally try it. Get some tongs. You guys hear that sizzle though? It's like music to our ears. Okay, it's browning pretty slowly. So I think our heat is perfect. Nice medium heat. Yum. Let's get a bowl out. Serving bowl. This away. Put that away. Hey Elena, welcome in. How are you doing? Great to see you today. Check our duck. Just golden brown. How's this one? Same. The same. Might actually cover that with just a splash guard. Seems like it's splashing everywhere. Don't want that. Is that a duck leg? It is. It's a confit duck leg. You're sick as a puppy, but you're okay. Oh no. Is everyone getting sick again? Well wishes to you, Elena. Sucks being sick. I feel ya. Especially when it's cold out. Yeah, we're crisping up the duck confit right now. Our bean cassoulet is in the pressure cooker. Our cabbage has been braised. Pretty much there for dinner time. Okay, let's check these. See if they're browning evenly. Ooh, yeah. So I might actually kind of toast this up on the side. To brown the underside. So kind of same with this one as well. Sometimes it just doesn't want to do that though. We'll just accept that. That's what happens. One more time, guys. Here's the recipes that we used today. So the Millionaire shortbread and the cassoulet. Feel free to check those out, and they're also going to be posted on Discord for you. Woo, we're popping. Maybe a little bit more just on this flat side. That. How's this one? Inside down. give these duck legs a flip. Let's come over here. Let's get that pressure cooker off of the burner so it starts to release some of the pressure and cool off so we can open up the lid. We'll let it cool off naturally. And maybe I'll switch this over so we can see it better. Nice medium heat still. But basically what we're looking for on that duck confit is nice crispy golden skin. Obviously hot all the way through. You don't want to leave that skin soggy because it's just not going to be nice on the palate. You need that contrast of texture. Okay, sounds good, Anchovy. Thanks for spending time with us today. You got to scoot. Take care, and we'll be back on Sunday and Monday streaming with you guys before we go to New York with you guys. So have a wonderful week. I'll be at work for the next 4 days and then back to Cook with Kate streams. Okay, just gonna shut that burner off now and just let it kind of slowly come up to 10. Let's see. I love the mirror on the lid there. Let's see what's going on in this pot. So I always like to turn it to lower pressures just to make sure that it's not going to blow up when I open the pot. So I turned it all the way to low pressure. Nothing crazy is happening. Should be able to open this, no problem. And let us hope that our cassoulet is done, that our beans are cooked. I guess we'll see, and maybe we'll have to put it back on the stove pot. But I'm just going by this recipe. Never done it before. Are our beans soft? Not quite. I don't think we're there yet, guys. I'm gonna bring that up again. But we might have to dig into those Trillionaire bars before dinner. So they said 20 minutes at high pressure. That was half an hour. I even went longer than it, and it's still not cooked. So what the heck is what I'm saying. Back onto the heat. At least we have some bacon to dig into while we wait. The good thing is that's still warm. It's still hot. So for me to bring it back up to pressure, it's not gonna take long. Maybe I'll leave the burner on a higher setting. So like we're already steaming. I'm gonna leave that on a medium heat instead of medium low. Make sure we listen to that whistle the whole time. Do 10 minutes. 10 minutes and then we'll see. It's very ducky in here, isn't it, Sammy?
Sure is.
Our bars don't look hard enough yet either. We need to throw them in the blast chiller probably, not just outside. Like as I kind of wiggle this piece of parchment as the chocolate is sticking to it. You don't want the chocolate to stick. So I'm gonna throw these in the freezer real quick and we're just gonna chill for a little bit. The whistle stopped. I'm gonna turn this burner back up. Want that whistle the whole time. Kill that chocolate. Okay, so what's going on next week, guys, is Sunday. Sammy has requested a quiche for brunch. So we're gonna make a broccoli cheddar quiche. Not sure if you guys know what that is. So what it is basically a baked egg casserole with a pastry crust. So you make your pastry, you bake it, you par-bake it, and then you make a scrambled egg mixture with your eggs, a little bit of cream, your cheese, and your broccoli. Pour that into the crust and bake that, obviously until it's firm. And then you serve it like a pie. So that's what's for brunch on Sunday morning. And then Monday, we've had a request from Nike 2G and Rook to make some chimitas, some Mexican sandwiches. So that's gonna be our last stream before we head to New York with you guys. Hey, Dirtbag. How are ya? Happy cooks, thanks. We're just waiting for dinner to finish cooking. Is our beans for our cassoulet are not quite there yet. So maybe 10 more minutes in the pressure cooker and then we should be good. And this burner is like a power burner, so should get ripping in there. Whoa! Lullaboo with the host. Thank you so much, Lullaboo. Dirtbag, how you been? What's new? Oh yeah, there we go. We got our steam ripping now. Nothing's new. Yeah, typically nothing's like new, hey, when you ask someone that. Okay, holy shit. We are pressurized. Should see this. The steam coming out of the top. I don't even know if it'll show on the camera, but it is huge. So that should get some cooking for us. That's great, Lullaboo. What did you guys make on stream today? So the water, flour, salt, and yeast Kindle book is on sale for $3. What? Should go pick that up. Did you get it, Vegan Gelato? Dirtbag. Waiting for your edible to kick in, so, of course, Kate's on. Typical. Ooh, cookies for giveaways. What type of cookies? Sounds delicious. And isn't that like the best thing to give away? Such an awesome thing to mail to your loyal viewers. I've done that before. People appreciate that. There's a lot of love that goes into those cookies. Yeah, your cookbook backlog of shame. I'm with you, Vegan Gelato. I got quite a few new books at the beginning of the year. I've only fully read one of them, and that's the Maddie Matheson book. Okay, 5 minutes. Hopefully these beans are broken down in that time. Got some pretty high pressure going on right now. I'm sure you guys will be able to hear it. I'm gonna do a little bit of cleaning up while we wait. Clean it up. Vegan Gelato, did you end up getting the fermentation book from Noma? Or did you pass? It's always a good idea to kind of sniff the steam that's coming out, especially if you brought it up on high temp, just to make sure that that stuff's not burning on the bottom of the pot, because that is a risk. It does happen. Okay, guys, I'm here. You did pick it up. It was in brand new condition. You were shocked. Normally Amazon books arrive kind of scuffed here. Yeah, that's happened to me too. And it's like, what the heck? The heck is this? That's good to hear though. Ms. Night Lobster, how are you? I smell food. What you smelling? Nike! Chimitas on Monday for Nike and Rook. I'm doing well, thanks. Just waiting for dinner to finish cooking. We're ready to eat. We're getting hungry. Waiting for the cassoulet to finish up in the pressure cooker. Killing me. I want to peek, but we can't. What's for dinner? So we have some duck leg confit. Not sure if you know what that is. And then we made a traditional French bean stew called cassoulet. It has bacon in it. It's got a little bit of tomato. Some mirepoix, so celery, carrots, and onions, and some herbs. And then we made a chicken broth to go in there as well. And so then those beans get cooked with all of that stuff until they're nice and soft. You get like a nice stew out of it. I'm testing it in the pressure cooker today. It's supposed to only take around half an hour, but we did the half an hour. The beans were still pretty hard. So we're bringing it back up again for an extra 10 minutes on a nice high heat. So hopefully that breaks those beans down in a short amount of time. Because otherwise, in the oven, it usually takes around 4 to 6 hours to make it properly. So we're seeing if we can make it quicker and still get the same result. We're playing around. Woo! Okay, there's our timer. So now, I'm going to take that back off of the heat again, let it depressurize on its own, and then we'll open it up, check the beans again. Check it out, guys. I don't know if you can see this steam still, but that's where it's coming out of. As of 2 days ago, the Kindle version of the Action Bronson cookbook was on sale for $10. What? Sadly, I already have that book. It's a pretty good book. Got some awesome recipes in it. Dirtbag, you too break beans down in a short amount of time. That's impressive, sir. Shadow, thank you for the follow. Don't want to turn that dial. Don't touch that dial. You guys remember when TV shows used to say that? Well, it's happening on Twitch right now. Yeah, remember when you had to touch a dial to change the channel? Don't touch that dial. duck is still warm, but I might crisp up the skin just a touch more. I'm gonna check the beans first and then go from there. I really hope that they're okay now. Yeah, remember when you had to get up to change the channel? Oh man, Nike. The good old days. Gotta fix the antennas as well. Things get wonky. It's like making this little like whale spout of water, so I'm just gonna let that cool off on its own. Yeah, remember when you had to rewind VHS tapes? Or...
Be kind, please rewind.
Or if you taped over something previously by accident, the end of the world.
So dead.
So dead. Yeah, or you get charged $3. Hilarious. And now look at us, guys.
Now we Netflix.
Yeah, now we Netflix and chill. Okay, how is this now? Still quite aggressive. Quite aggressive. We will wait. That is all. Hopefully those Trillionaire bars firm up as well. I'm not gonna peek. You don't want to let the warm air into the blast chiller. Your beta auto rewound like a champ. I don't think I know what that is. Too bad.
Beta and VHS spot.
Oh. Too bad Super 8 tapes never took off. They were so cute and tiny. I don't even think I know what that is I shot. You don't think you ever saw a Betamax? Yeah, I don't know what that is. At least I don't think I know what it is. Heck, who knows? Who even knows? Beta as in the Betamax. Okay. You used your Instant Pot for the first time, Zeeks. Pressure cooked baby back ribs. 20 minutes tasted like 20 hours? Well, then that's why you have the Instant Pot, isn't it? That is so good to hear. What did you flavor the ribs with? Maybe the Instant Pot's better than this, hey? Imagine if we didn't cover that spout. We would have filled the whole room with steam. I'll let it cool off a bit again. Yeah, drops. Trillionaire bars. You just wait. Oh, don't feel extra old. You're fine. Zeeks, you did brown sugar and smoked paprika rub. Classic. Bit of garlic powder, salt, pepper, chili powder, onion powder. Mmm. That would taste so good. Preparing for takeoff, pretty much. We're waiting for our pressure cooker to depressurize. It's taken a bit. Try it again. This cloth is like hot and now damp. Ooh, our chocolate's hardening. What are we gonna reveal first? The cassoulet or the Trillionaire bars? Yeah, nice. That's such a good way to finish it. A little bit of barbecue sauce in the broiler, crisp it up a bit. Perfect. That is so awesome. Ribs in 20 minutes. Like literally falling off the bone, Zeeks. Okay, let's do this one more time. Hello. Welcome to Cook with Kate. think we're almost there anyways. Slowing down. Sony is the undisputed champ of failed media formats. I love that. Piano player. Hey, hey, welcome in. Popping in for a sec. Found me on someone's Discord whose channel you follow. Gotta make something for dinner, then go somewhere in a little bit. Amazing, well, welcome in. The evening is going good so far. We're just about to take a look at this bean cassoulet that we've been cooking in the pressure cooker. It's almost dinner time. The bones wanted to slide right out. Oh, you also add water and apple cider vinegar in the pot. Nice. Thank you so much for the follow. We love new people in here. Okay, let's open it. Open the pot. It's about that time here too. Hey, we're in the same time zone. We're in Southern Cali near San Diego. Awesome. We are straight up north on Vancouver Island in Canada. Okay, so it's still bubbling at least this time. It wasn't even bubbling last time we took the lid off, so maybe we didn't have the heat high enough. Let's check this out now. So all sorts of goodness in here. Most importantly, let's see if our beans are soft, right? Sammy says it's time. I'm gonna say I really hope so. We're there. Just gonna quickly simmer it on the stovetop for a couple minutes while we re-crisp up the duck skin. And in that time, we'll give it another season. And then we can plate. Finally, guys. So maybe I just didn't use the pressure pot on a high enough heat in order to break down the beans. And it smells amazing. Yeah, it is hearty and delicious. Perfect for wintertime meals. So let's go back over to the stovetop. We got our duck in the pan. Put this on a nice medium-high heat. Get it ripping again. And our duck pan. We'll do medium-high as well. I'm just gonna flip that back over. See, it's nice golden brown. And then this way, our cassoulet can kind of reduce a little bit. We'll make it a little bit more kind of stew texture. Get those beans to kind of fall apart and thicken up the sauce. Nike, we are so excited for the New York streams. It's gonna come so quick. Yeah, we just gotta figure out the data. Basically it. Okay, so our cassoulet definitely needs some salt. So I already just tasted it. I'm gonna kind of estimate, start with a teaspoon worth. And then we'll taste it again, kind of see what we think. Even just tasting the broth is okay. Wow. Just that little bit of salt made it taste so much better. Did a bear just sneeze in your house? Oh, that's pretty accurate, Nike. Okay, maybe a touch more salt. But it's definitely pulling out like the nice smoky flavors from the bacon. So, so good. One more taste. I might just add a touch of cracked pepper into here as well. Our duck is a sizzling. Hopefully this is the final taste. Turn our duck off. On point. Hey guys, check this out. You need to grow mutton chops. This cauldron. Just a cauldron of bean stew. Oh gosh, Nikki. I don't think Sammy could do mutton chops. I don't know, man. Check this out, guys. You thought the beans looked good. Look at those duck legs. Crispy skin. We can finally serve. Finally serve the meal. Okay, let's move this over. So it's a touch more saucy now that we just put it on the burner for those couple minutes. And this is gonna be better tomorrow, let me tell you guys. 100% it's gonna be better tomorrow. So, cassoulet is going in first into our bowl. Make a nice little bed with it. One more spoonful. That's probably good. This is gonna be really, really filling, so be aware of that. Good. You can see all of our nice little bits of bacon and pork that we put in there, our carrots. Now our braised cabbage that we did previously. Super good. It's still warm. That's gonna go on top. Hey, Cemetery. Thanks. Good to see you in here. Yeah, cooking streams will always make you hungry, even if you just ate. So a nice pile of cabbage right on top there. And that's gonna hold our duck out of our beans so that the skin stays nice and crispy. Come on over, Sammy.
I'm coming.
Come on in. We're finally there. And I'm gonna do our parsley sprinkle now. Nike, you dropped your phone on your face. That's how you know it's time for bed. That's unfortunate, man.
Totally when you know.
Good night, my dude. Have a great night. Thanks for hanging with us. I would recommend going around. Nestle that duck leg in there. And that's it, guys. This is French food. It's not like, I don't know if that looks amazing. I mean, to me, yeah, it looks freaking good. But most people think it's like, oh, it just looks like browned stuff. But this is like an amazing wintertime meal. Freaking good. This is actually duck leg. This is duck leg that was slow cooked in its own fat until it's like just starting to fall off the bone. Yeah, no wonder.
And nap time after this, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is gonna be an epic nap time. I'm just gonna take a quick photo and then it's taste test time. We've been waiting for so long. You're crying, Cemetery? Don't cry. It's okay. It'll be okay. We'll see what Sammy says.
Seasoning's on point.
Seasoning's on point.
Probably need a spoon for this.
Yeah, this is like a spoon, fork, and knife dinner.
You don't need a knife.
No, for the duck, it's okay.
Sure, I'll just rip it apart.
So, nice crispy duck skin.
Cassowaries on.
Literally just pull that apart. How nice and moist that is still. It's not dry. Probably have to take that out of there for it to focus.
Beans, the musical fruit. The more you eat,
Holy
the more
smokes.
you toot, the more you toot, the better you feel. So eat beans at every meal.
Literally just pull this duck apart. But let's try a piece of this crispy skin. We didn't crisp that up for nothing. Oh. It's like super nutty. Okay. We'll go away from the duck for a sec. Let's try out this cassoulet one more time. It's in the bowl. Got some bacon on there, carrot, different types of beans. It's so smoky and delicious, you guys. The beans are perfectly cooked. They're not like mushy, falling apart. There's still a little bite from the skin, but then they just kind of melt away in your mouth. Maka Waka, how are you? Okay, let's try a little bit with our braised cabbage. So I think that together, like the sweetness from the cabbage, is gonna be so good. Hello, Cemetery. Totally tastes like something you would eat in France. Hey, Sammy? We do get a little bit of wine flavor still from the cabbage as well, which is exactly what I wanted. Because the wine has sweetness, but it also has acidity. Because this is a pretty rich meal still. There's a lot of fat involved. We got rich meats. You still need to cut that acidity, or sorry, the richness with acidity. So let's have a piece of duck with all of this good stuff together. Not burn our face off. We did too good today, guys. Yeah, 25. 25 for sure. For this bowl. I mean, the most expensive part is the duck. Beans are cheap. Cabbage is cheap, right? So you have to think about it that way. A lot of love went into this, though. Definitely doesn't look that good once you start kind of taking it apart and eating it, but holy shit, these flavor combinations. And it's also about the textures too, right? It's like not everything can be all mushy. You need that crunch, crispy duck skin. Okay, we are going to wrap it up. Let's put this aside for a sec. We still have to reveal our Trillionaire bars. I'll keep eating after this, after we say bye to you. So here's what we ended up with. It seems like it's firmed up nicely now. I can peel the parchment away. Feeling good about it. Mint. It looks awesome. You're gonna have to watch this VOD. Okay, sounds good. I'm gonna try and peel this out of the pan. Just like that. Ooh, hello little chocolate crispy. Can we peel the edges? That is the question. Might have to get a hot knife. Try and cut around it because it's sticking to it. We'll blame the caramel. Okay, let's heat up a paring knife. We need to see how this looks, right? We need to see those layers of goodness. It is thick. It is so thick, Clone Clone. There we go. Hello. Hello there. Try and keep that caramel on the bar. Don't want it all to stick to the paper. Actually not as bad as I thought it would be though. Thick. That's some thick shit. Okay, I'm gonna grab a different knife. Look at that. Who's gonna lick the knife off? Even though it's dangerous, right? Okay, bigger knife coming in. Hot water so we get a nice slice. Just run your blade under there. I know the chocolate is not completely set yet, but that is the risk we are willing to take in this moment. Sammy may eat it all. Would not surprise me. I don't even know. It cut really nice though. That cut so nice. We'll do it into 3, I think. Want that nice centerpiece. Oh God, it's sticking back to itself. Put a couple actually together. Check it though. Those layers. That's what we're looking for. Kate can cook, and so can you. I mean, you can still tell it's not quite set, but holy Holy shit, you guys. That turned out so well. So that's why it's important to let those layers cool off between each one. So it stays in those layers. Okay, I'm gonna keep that piece. Maybe we won't keep that piece for a photo. Let's get in there. Let's get into it. We're gonna get messy. Let's see. So, shortbread bottom, dulce de leche center, dark chocolate ganache with sea salt flakes and crunchy chocolate pearls. How do you deal with people getting angry they can't eat your food? I don't know. I actually feel really bad. That's the only kind of downside of streaming for you guys is I wish you could eat it with me. It's like that actually bugs me a little bit. Oh, wow. Even the bite out of it.
Bring it to the check next to you, switch back.
The shortbread is so light. It's not hard at all. So the key there was to not overwork the crust. So we mixed the flour until it was just kind of crumbly and then we press it into the pan. But this is by far the best millionaire bar that I've ever made. We're calling them Trillionaire bars because we added the salt and the crunchy chocolate on top. It needs a garnish. Yeah, this is literally torture. We're gonna let Sammy have a piece of this and try it, but I think he's gonna be pretty impressed with how I did.
I finished my dinner first.
Sammy finished his dinner, so he's good to go. Green light for him.
Excuse me.
Excuse you.
That's the pan?
Yeah, it was upstairs though. I don't know. You want to see the anguish? Sammy wants this piece. The big one. Vegan gelato.
Yeah, the 3 small pieces are for photos and you. I'll take the big one.
Oh, so I only get these 3 cut pieces and Sammy gets all of this. Mint. How is that fair? The heck? He's not ready for this though. He's so not. He thinks he is. He's like, oh, I've made this before. Careful, please. Can you not? Give him an inch, he takes a mile. I did bad things. He's made these before for me, but I think I did better.
Guess what? I don't have like millionaire bars anymore.
Dang it! This was like one of his go-tos. Holy shit. How rich is it though? Do you feel like a trillionaire right now?
I feel like I'm getting diabetes.
The diabetes. Yeah, don't joke. That shit's gonna break, Cemetery. I would have been so sad. Factual flow. Yeah, you're too late. Eating diabetes is our new hobby. Yes. Okay. We did the reveal. Dirty, dirty things have been done today on stream. Yeah, congratulations. You've just won the diabetes. Flo, how are you today? Are these really 1,000 times better than billionaire bars though? Yes. Did I take a picture of the bars? Not yet. I'm gonna cut a really nice centerpiece I shot.
The shortbread in this is awesome.
Yeah, the shortbread is unreal. It just melts in your mouth.
Okay.
I don't know if it will for you.
It will.
That's a mess. I don't think it will.
Boo.
Nope. It's like, sorry, Sammy, too messy. Okay, we're wrapping things up. I've been asked to raid Kit Boga I don't know if they're still online.
Mm-hmm.
Kit Boga. Who is this? Does anyone know Kit?
He makes fun of. He tries to get hacked.
Okay.
It's really funny.
Kit Boga is still on. He's giant. Okay, sounds great. Thanks, Box. Thanks for hanging out with us. He makes fun of scammers. Okay, this is gonna be
Basically,
great.
He calls scammers back. And
What?
tries to get them to scam him.
Okay, well, hopefully it's not like follow or sub
No, it's not
only.
checked already.
So we're gonna go raid Kit Boga. First time for me going into there. Obviously, some of you know what's going on. It's
Nice.
good in there.
God,
Sweet.
those are good.
Thank you.
Holy.
Night, night, guys. We'll be back on Sunday.
There's so much
Last 2
chocolate
streams
caramel.
before New York. Take care for the week. I'm going to work for the next 4 days.
2 streams left
Matt.
till New York?
Matt, you're too late. But here you go. Before we go. I hope you are well, man. We're literally just going to raid Kit Boga. God damn it. And here was dinner. Distracted duck leg. Okay. Take care, guys.
So good.
Love y'all. Thanks for the
Bye, everyone.
resubs. Thanks for all the new follows as well. We'll see you later this week.
It's so good.
Did I make good things for you today, dude?
Yeah.